Some weeks ago, our 20-year-old daughter informed her grandmother that she had taken a major life decision to become pescatarian. Pescatarian. Grandma expressed her surprise and asked what this strange word meant. Our daughter explained to her that what it essentially meant was that henceforth, whatever she ate would incorporate seafood in place of meat in an otherwise vegetarian diet. "Oh, I see," was all Grandma said. A few days later, whilst Grandma and the rest of the family were setting the table for a proper Sunday lunch featuring various roasts and nice meat-laden Ghanaian soup, our daughter sighed and said, "How I wish I could dig into just one piece of meat." Grandma looked at her wisely and smiled and replied, "But my dear, no one forced you to become Presbyterian." Cautioned by this true story, I hope to use this occasion to share some thoughts in simple language about the power to change the world that each of you carries within you. My remarks are primarily addressed to the graduating class, being that this is their special day, but I also hope that each of us will take something from my remarks. As you leave this beautiful campus, I hope to point you towards a way to make the most of the treasure that you leave here with. Your Master in Public Health degree is unique in many ways, but dare I say its most distinguishing feature is the place from which you earned it. And so let me share why Ensign College of Public Health contributes so much to making your degree special. Certainly, its academic staff, led by President Alder, are truly world-class. Its idyllic location is very conducive to the navel-gazing of academic enterprise. And in the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology and the University of Utah, it has wonderful academic partners. Indeed, these assure you that your investment in this degree is worth every hard-earned CD, every sleepless night that you have invested here. But there is something more about Ensign College that no other institution in Ghana has. Prof. Dixon alluded to it. And it is indeed this that I hope will inspire you to be positive agents provocateurs for the change that Africa so desperately requires. Now, I have driven up and down the N2, which is the road that runs past the campus here, many times. From the days when we would do the midnight run between Accra and the Adowa nightclub at the Volta Hotel. And later in life, on the family road trips to Woolly Falls and to some of the resorts up the road from here. This knoll on which we stand today was always a bit of a landmark. Coming from Accra, it marked the first break in the monotony of the savannah landscape. Whilst if you're on your way back to Accra and you had not taken advantage of the exuberant street hawkers to purchase your abolo and 1,000, then it marked the end of your opportunity to do so. I cannot remember on which of our recent drives we noticed that construction had begun here. Suffice it to say that the finished product seemed to appear out of nowhere. One day there was nothing here, and the next time we came by, there was this magnificent edifice, sitting majestically, even if a little awkwardly, in its pristine surroundings. I must confess here that I lost a rather cynical wager that I made, wagering that this was a new holiday resort funded by some politician from his ill-gotten gains. When the sign declaring what it was went up, it did nothing to reduce the head scratching. And then by some stroke of serendipity, my path crossed with that of some of the key people involved with the project. Over time, I got to know the story of how this entity came into being. Let me just say that the saga of Ensign College of Public Health is one of love, generosity, imagination, innovation, determination, and selflessness. If, like me, you are impressed by what has been achieved here, then the details of how Dr. Lynette and Robert Gay with no other motivation than a sincere love for Ghana and an altruistic drive, took on a project over 7,000 miles from their home. This story will certainly inspire you. A dream to touch lives in a lasting and definitive way was enough motivation to tackle Ghana's interesting land tenure system, our mystifying business investment rules, and our rigorous accreditation system. The story of their unrelenting push to see their dream come true is replete with examples of the enabling power of true conviction. Honestly, it would have been much easier and less stressful to walk away from this project and instead build a beautiful holiday villa for their personal enjoyment. And therefore, I'm glad that they did not give up in the face of many reasons to do so. This simple resolve is what makes Ensign unique, different, powerful beyond its assets, its faculty, and its structures. We have a saying in Akan that says, a crab does not give birth to a bird. And so I believe that Ensign College itself has the very traits that Lynette and Robert Gay and their small team of collaborators exhibited. From my interactions with President Alder and his team, I can confirm that this institution remains creative, passionate, motivated, optimistic, forward-looking, resourceful, adventurous, action-oriented, selfless, and above all, and I struggle to find an alternative, more business-like word, above all, it remains kind. These are essentially the traits that great leaders, innovators, and entrepreneurs exhibit. And as I have said, this is what makes Ensign College a unique place. Now let me touch on another issue that, when considered in conjunction with the ethos of Ensign, creates green pastures of opportunity that make for exciting prospects for you. And previous speakers have touched on this. Africa is a continent bursting at the seams with resources. There is no other place on earth as endowed. On top of this, Africa receives the largest chunk of the world's official development aid, ODA, absorbing as much as 35% of global net ODA. Now, looking at that in more detail, of the ODA we receive, as much as 56% is directed at social and humanitarian needs. In the specific case of Ghana, we benefited from $1.324 billion of ODA in 2016, and then add to that the $8.46 billion US dollars generated in domestic revenue. To top it all, Africa also has the most talented and resourceful people. And in Ghana in particular, we have as many as 212 tertiary institutions, turning this raw talent into human capital for the nation's use. All of this notwithstanding, one wonders, why are we still amongst the laggards in the development class? From the preceding, it is clear we are not poor. We are well educated. And so one wonders, could our dependence on donor support be more of a hindrance than a help? Let me share with you a portion of a report put together by the Association of Chartered Certified Accountants, presented at a recently organized health conference in Accra, describing a community hospital in Accra. And I quote, "Lekma Hospital, which opened on 21st December 2010, is a multi-purpose hospital serving the residents of Teshi and surrounding districts, one of the most deprived and densely populated areas of Accra. Serving a population of 1 million people, the hospital has 100 beds and is clinically staffed by 3 specialist physicians, 4 junior doctors, and 140 nurses. In addition to carrying out general medical care, the hospital carries out research into eradicating malaria, a leading cause of child mortality. The hospital also has a department providing Chinese medical services. Since it opened, the hospital has been plagued with problems and has been constantly in the news. Initially, there was a problem accessing water supplies for drinking and cleaning purposes. The hospital building was funded by a grant from the Chinese and executed by China Geoengineering Corporation. This introduced a critical plumbing problem, as the Chinese-sourced water pipes in the hospital were not compatible with the Ghanaian pipework. End of quote. I think this illustrates the point rather well, a point which the chair, Dr. Lynette Gay, makes in her introductory remarks on the Ensign website. Gifts, grants, and support, as useful as they are, do not and cannot fix Africa's problems. We need to rediscover the confidence to be self-reliant and to intelligently use our resources, our knowledge, our training, and our gifts to develop ourselves. This is the spirit of entrepreneurship. Indeed, the alchemy that transforms natural endowments into wealth and betterment for all is the trained mind coupled with the ingenuity of this entrepreneurial spirit, with its finely tuned nose to sniff out opportunities where you and I only see challenges. The famous anecdote about two shoe salesmen who were sent to a country where no one wore shoes depicts this rather well. One of the salesmen sent a telex back to HQ saying, "No one wears shoes here, absolutely no market for our product." The other's telex said, "No one wearing shoes here, huge untapped potential market." There is no doubt that Ghana and indeed Africa has no shortage of challenges. Sometimes they appear so many that one is tempted to throw in the towel. A pertinent manifestation of this is the relentless brain drain with which our health sector is plagued. And I recall from reading Dr. Gay's remarks on the website again that it is her hope that all graduates of Ensign remain in Ghana to fix our problems. But challenges are the grist of innovation and entrepreneurship. And thus, to the entrepreneurial mind, Ghana and indeed Africa is the mythical El Dorado. We need so many things, but every area in which we lack represents potential to innovate or borrow and customize ideas from wherever they may be found. The great thing about the entrepreneurial spirit is that it proceeds and succeeds in spite of any extraneous factor. This, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, is the spirit of Ensign College. This, I pray, is also the spirit of you, its graduates. In the movie Spider-Man, Peter Parker's Uncle Ben spoke these words of wisdom to him. With great power comes great responsibility. Again, previous speakers have alluded to this. This simply means that if we are blessed with talents, wealth, knowledge, a master in public health from Ensign College, then it's our responsibility to use these well. Each of you, dear graduates, is blessed to be an African, born on this continent of immeasurable resources, beauty, and promise. Yes, and challenges too. You are blessed to be living in these times when technology continues to surprise us by how much it enables us to do. You are blessed to be educated at a time when knowledge is reasserting itself as man's greatest asset. You are blessed to have studied at this amazing campus and to be taught by the best in the field of public health. And so I ask you, what are you going to do with all of these? And I suggest to you that the answer lies right here. Look to the spirit of Ensign College of Public Health, now your alma mater. And did you know that the phrase alma mater translates from Latin into generous mother? If ever an institution deserved to be referred to in such terms, then Ensign College is that institution. And from your generous mother, you have inherited the traits that make her unique, and thus you have also been endowed with powerful uniqueness. Please manifest these markers of the indomitable power of innovation wherever life's journey takes you, for the betterment of your society and our country and our continent. And so I appeal to you, be creative, make things happen. Be passionate, care deeply about what matters. Be motivated. Let the desire to make a difference be your energy source. Be optimistic, believe that you can make a difference. Be forward-looking, keep an eye on the opportunities that tomorrow holds. Be resourceful, use what you have to create what you need. Be adventurous, step forward towards the challenges, for that is the only way to make progress. Be action-oriented, knowing having the knowledge is not enough. You must apply, you must do. Be selfless. Remember that we will all account for our blessings, and above all, be kind. Then you will be worthy alumni of Ensign College of Public Health and powerful propagators of a new way of uplifting our country, our continent, and our world. I wish you well. Thank you very much.